Question. What makes Gatsby a tragic character? What ultimately causes his downfall? We understand that the green light on Daisy Buchanan's dock, in its simplest terms, is a symbol for an unattainable dream, that we can never recreate the past exactly how we like. But Bruce Bechdel does not understand this. He reaches for the green light until he kills himself. And on that cheery note, hi, I'm Mason Hopkins, and I'm going to be discussing Alison Bechdel's use of literary illusions in her graphic memoir, Fun Home. Drag. It's way more than just dressing across and in between traditional gender lines. As noted in a previous video, it's a parody of the idea that there's even an ideal to be parodied. Drag queens are not themselves pretending to be ideal women. They are pointing out that beauty ideals are constructed, and even women who try to attain these standards are pretending. Bruce Bechdel, in his daughter's book, constructs himself in reference to many of his favorite literary characters. Bruce's trouble is that his reading of any text is never complete. He mislabels himself as one character, but his action matches that of another. This causes cognitive dissonance. Incidentally, it's also why when Bechdel describes her father, she does so using comparisons to literary figures. For instance, Bruce is simultaneously depicted as Daedalus, the master craftsman from Greek mythology, and the Minotaur, a monster that Daedalus created and imprisoned in the labyrinth that he built. And if this sounds familiar, that's because Bruce's house is a labyrinth of Victorian knickknacks. Even further, right at the end of the book, Bechdel says that it was her father that hurtles into the sea. This is a reference to Icarus, Daedalus' son, who is killed while flying too close to the sun with the wings that his father had made. This causes the wax on the wings to melt, the wings to fail, and then Icarus to fall in the sea and drown. Jeez, poor Icarus. I mean, bad enough your name's Icarus. But what Bechdel is getting at is that while the children in the Bechdel house are usually the ones that suffer at the hands of their father's creations and restorations, it's actually her father that's ultimately brought down by his own artifice. Because remember, Daedalus and Icarus used the wings to escape imprisonment in a labyrinth, the same labyrinth that Daedalus made to hold the Minotaur. If Bruce is all three of these characters, then he creates his life to trap himself, a monster, only to be imprisoned within the confines of that life, and the only way out is death. I started on Gatsby, so let's go back to that because it's classic Bruce misreading literature. He bases his whole heterosexual love life on the marriage between Zelda and F. Scott Fitzgerald. While still in the army, he begins to write letters to his eventual wife, Helen. These letters are mainly discussion of Fitzgerald's work, his romantic entanglements, and especially his partying. But Bruce doesn't want to be Fitzgerald. He wants to be Zelda. He wants to be receiving Fitzgerald's letters. And he doesn't understand that the lives that Gatsby and supposedly Fitzgerald lead are unattainable and, possibly more importantly, unsustainable. And because Bruce is only mimicking the lives of these select literary figures, both real and fictional, then he's not actually putting a lot of his own emotion into it. This is why this section is called literary drag. Because he has to go so far to overcompensate for the lack of meaning in his letters, Bechdel says they began to drip with Fitzgerald-esque sentiment, and it's unconvincing. Just like Gatsby is chasing a woman that he can never have, Bruce is chasing two lifestyles that he can't have. The heteronormative model that he doesn't fit, and the homosexual one that his internalized homophobia won't let him enter. Bruce's construction of himself is wounded by the fact that he's not Holden. He's Mr. Antolini. The thing is, though, Mr. Antolini is better at having a seemingly good heterosexual marriage, while also still making passes at boys in high school. The creation of Fun Home has allowed Alison Bechdel to fabricate new identities for her father to take, while also enforcing these harmful ones. But if that's the only connection that she has to her father, how else is she supposed to get at these issues? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this series, make sure to like it, share it, and keep the discussion going in the comments section below. The next video is the last one in the series, where we'll wrap all of this up and discuss the implications of creating an identity on dissonant beliefs. Bye!